the ancient Egyptians created some of the most enduring structures in human history, especially once they mastered the 6 major construction aspects that are consistent for all 80 or so pyramids they built. The first principle is the square base. To get a perfect square, they marked the 4 corners of the pyramid, something they probably did with strings. Precision is important, because if the sides aren't exactly even, you'll run into problems higher up. In a second phase, they built a rough, stepped core, like here at Giza outside Cairo, where it's possible to see the various layers. Much of what remains today is this core. This one is the biggest pyramid of them all. It is the tomb of Pharaoh Cheops, who ruled Egypt in the middle of the 25th century BC. Rising almost 500 feet above the desert floor, this was the tallest building in the world for nearly 5,000 years. Nobody knows exactly what their techniques were, because over time the traces of their construction methods have been erased, eternally sparking new theories. The third feature is the location and orientation of the pyramid. Since King Sneferu, all pyramids now faced east-west, equating the life and death of the king to the rising and setting sun. Orienting the pyramid in the right direction seems to have been no problem for the ancients, because the mean error on most pyramids is less than 1 degree. A pyramid like this required nearly 2.5 million stone blocks, a virtual mountain. Here in the pyramid quarry, you can still see where they cut the core blocks out of the bedrock. At an ancient quarry in Aswan, in the south of Egypt, I came to appreciate their determination. This is a block of dolerite, and believe it or not, it was all the Egyptians needed to quarry huge blocks of granite. They'd use it much like a sledgehammer, pounding away till they had holes like these, and eventually they'd have a trench. The work must have been extremely tedious, but it was very effective. I met with Dennis Stocks, an expert and author of a book on stoneworking technology in ancient Egypt.
It's a question of a grid pattern to isolate blocks ready to extract them to put into the pyramid.
He explained how they moved these blocks to build the pyramid core. Given the different sizes, they probably used various methods. In some cases, they probably dragged the blocks, while in others, they used sleds and wooden rollers. With simple wood levers, they most likely set the larger blocks in place. At the top, the rocks are much smaller and could probably be set by hand. In the fourth phase of construction, they filled in smaller stones to shape the actual pyramid. The trick was not so much the perfect shape of each block, but the overall height of each course, which had to be absolutely even and level. As you can see, the pyramids are built out of stones of all different shapes and sizes. Some as large as a truck, others the size of a fridge, all fitted exactly together. But as if that wasn't hard enough, the builders had to maintain a constant angle from one course of stones to the next. Only that way could they give the facade the smoothness of a piece of glass and maintain the angles with a razor-sharp precision. The fifth aspect of pyramid construction was the right angle, the slope, and its proportion to the square base. This was crucial in terms of durability. Finally, there were the white, smoothly finished limestone casing blocks. In most cases, they've been stripped away as the pyramids themselves became quarries. The cap on Cheops' son, Khafre's tomb, is a remnant of that.
If we walk along this way, you'll see that blocks are in a line and they seem pretty level with each other.
How did they keep them so level?
Well, they had to use a means of testing them. So we'll test them and see how good they are. Let's use the old levelling tool again.
Our old friend.
The rods and string.
Yes.
You place your end on that block there, and I'll try this block here. And we'll try your block first with the testing rod. Oh,
so that's
brilliant.
Pretty good, isn't it? Pretty perfect.
That's good there, but this is the bit here. How's this level here? Oh, yes. You've got to have nothing but admiration for them.
So they've got it exactly right.
Absolutely right. So the blocks are level.
But that wasn't enough. For the pyramid to remain stable, the blocks had to be horizontal. Dennis had brought another ancient tool.
Now, we can use this A-frame to check whether the block is truly horizontal.
Horizontal, like a surface of water.
Yeah, in fact, we can use the surface of water to check that the frame is accurate. And we do this by marking a line behind the hanging plumb line.
So if your measurement is flat, then this will always hang absolutely vertically. And then you know the rock is horizontal.
Yes. So how is that now?
It's bang on. It's absolutely right in the middle. It's very good.
Very good.
But that's one thing. I mean, if you know the block is horizontal, that's fine. But surely you also need to know whether the sides are vertical.
Yeah, that's right, Jack. But they had another tool for this purpose.
Now, this is one of the casing blocks that once covered the entire pyramid.
That's right, Jack. Because this casing block has to fit to its neighbour, the vertical face has to be truly vertical. And they could test it with this particular tool, which is called an F-frame. And by the way, this is the only place on the plateau that we can test whether a casing block surface is truly vertical. This is a simple tool. So long as this distance is equal to this distance and the plumb line is touching both the ends, then we can say that the surface is truly vertical. So how's it doing, Jack?
It's doing pretty well.
Then we can show that the surface is vertical.
Pretty simple, huh?
Well, you've got it right again, Jack.